with this episode right here. And I mean right here of Mob Psycho Season 2, Episode 4. I can see why so many people have Studio Bones on their top list of best animation studios of all time. The work they put in, the detail to the art. Sure, they don't have that budget like Ufotable does with their Fate series, but nonetheless, they do one hell of a job because if you just hire the right people who have extreme passion for what they do, you can easily make a top quality show. Same with Madhouse with One Punch Man. Apparently, they have a big budget of One Punch Man, and that was still a glorious show. But have that being said, this episode was not just also beautifully stunning when it came to visuals, but also when it came to its inner meaning of the message. And that message is, can people change? So Mugano put Mob into a world where he didn't have powers. So I thought, well, maybe wasn't Mob doing that where he was in a world where he wasn't trying to use his powers in the first place? So I thought things would be the same for him. I was horribly wrong. Tell you the truth, Mob was lucky. He was lucky to be put into a world where people were to treat him kindly. The Body Improvement Club could have been a bunch of bullies who could have picked on him for being weak. People around him could have used him for exploiting him or using him or bullying him around all the time, but they didn't. Mob was put into a lucky situation in a reality world where even though he wasn't trying to use his powers at all, he was put around nice people who encouraged him to do his best instead of looking down on him, which happened in this alternate world without powers. For the average Joe, that kind of chance won't come around. And because of that, Mob was severely bullied by Asagiri. And speaking of Asagiri, this wasn't just some world where Mugano was making Asagiri being a jerk. Turns out she was always a jerk. She was someone who would come to a place and she would try to make her standing within the social status by picking on someone else like everyone else is doing. Because she herself was afraid of being bullied. So, seeing that Mob is trying to save someone who acts exactly the way she does inside of this dream world, where she was cruel to people, where she was picking on people like Mob all the time. So it makes you wonder, is she worthy of being saved? Well, then again, that comes to the question of morality and your own sense of justice. If we were trying to only save people who we think were nice or deem of being saved, not many people will be living in this world right now, unfortunately, because we all have our own standards of how people should be, and because of that, a lot of people end up dead. And that's the truth. But that's why the code should always be a gray area in that way. Save anyone, if you have the power to save someone, save them, no less whether you hate them or not. The person you could be saving could be the most greatest jackass of all time. Like, just complete asshole. But it doesn't matter. You have that power, you have the authority to do something. That's not for you to decide, I guess. And because of that, Mob chose the better choice. Of course, he was falling into this bad dream where he was being hated and put in a situation where no matter what he did, he'll always be tormented unless he used his power. Mugano was a person who realized the darkness and malice of humanity, especially after his mother died, where his mother blamed him for her own death and her misery. So ever since then, he decided to punish all those who thought they could get away with their misdeeds, gathering up a bunch of evil spirits throughout the years, and they were trying to use them on Mob in his alternate universe. But thanks to Dimpo's help, he was able to wake up and realize he is blessed. He is lucky that he lived in a world where he got to meet people that encouraged him to do better. Instead of looking down on him saying, oh, you're weak, you're pathetic, no one wants to be around you, they said, you can always improve, you can always change, you can always do better. And that's a very good encouraging message here. It's to take what you got, and yes, Mob is lucky, but he's blessed. So nonetheless, he should take that into consideration. There he has a responsibility to do better, to be better. And that's the message I got from this, really. And of course, changing. Mob was able to change. He don't think he's significantly strong, but he thinks he's got himself a little bit stronger. And because of that, he has this sense of responsibility that he has to be there for people, that he will use these powers not to harm, but to protect instead, no less these people are bad or not. So, that being said, we get to see Mob rising to the occasion, reaching 100, but not in a very dangerous way like we've seen before, but instead in a more positive perspective. He knows what he has to do. He reached his 100% level, but nonetheless, he is in full control, full of positivity, able to exercise the evil spirit Mugano. Even though Mugano said he would be watching from a distance, he immediately gets captured. Like, wow. I like how they just stopped that cliche, or how the cliche character, like, yeah, I'll watch him with this, but instead he is captured by a dude who was helping them out from the shadows from last season. Now we get to see Asagiri in real life state, where the way she acted at first, where he says, so you were like this the entire time in real life? She's like, yeah, sorry about that. She waved at him and left, but however, you could tell from her face she was trying to hold back her tears because she realized she was a garbage human being. She was a terrible person. And she had no choice but to apologize. She realized what she was doing was completely inhumane and no one deserved to go through that. And yes, it's going to hurt. You're going to have to carry that with you. But it's for the best. Because when you carry that with you, you will remember of who you were in the past and how you were disgusted with yourself in the past. And because of that, you go to the future to become a better person. Sometimes people say to let things go or forget about it. No, you can't forget about these things. Not to hold down you in guilt, but to remember and for you to understand where you came from. For you to know where you're going, you got to know where you came from in the first place. And I know it sounds like I'm being preachy here, but that is the truth. You know, if you forget all the things in the past, you're not going to learn your lesson. You're not going to learn your lesson. So in order for you to become that good person, you got to be careful. You got to remember the worst part of you and to improve on that. So probably now after this, she's wants to see him again. So this cult that's been rising up for Mob has been steadily raising bit by bit. I'm betting by the end of the season, it'll be something pretty big, and Mob himself not going to know what to do with it. Like, he has no idea that this cult really exists, that's happening, thanks to some of his friends. I like to see how that blows up in his face. Nonetheless, Reagan even shows himself some good. Well, Reagan's always been a good character. Despite him being a con man, he's a con man that makes sure that no one gets hurt within the crossfire. And because people did get hurt, a lot of people got hurt because of this, he decided not to take the money. He believes doing things that leaves working hard with it. Even when you are a con man, he believes in the earnesty of hard work. So, and he believes that you just take things just given to you, you'll have that kind of life model where you expect people to give things to you. And I think that's the problem of our generation, is that we expect people just to give us things without working for it. We can just whine and cry on Twitter all day, and we expect people to make things go our way. And because of that, we're always going to feel like we're entitled to everything. And I know you guys hate when I bring this up sometimes, but I feel like it's need to be understood this thing for us to change. And sometimes change can always be better. Sometimes change can also be for the worse as well. People can go the other direction and also become even a worse person than they were before, for all we know. But that's all a matter of perspective and how you see your viewpoint of the world. So yes, Mob Psycho 100 Season 2 Episode 4 was fantastic. I really love the detail in this episode. I love seeing the resolve of Mob, Reagan just being Reagan and awesome, and Dimple himself helping out Mob. People can change. Whether it's for better or for worse, that's entirely up to them. But the main story of this is that can people change? And some people believe people can't change at all. But that's determined on their own life experience. But however, if you have more of a bigger worldview, you probably see that people can change for the better. It has happened. It has been shown plenty of times throughout history. And it's up to us as each individual person to decide who we want to be when we grow up. Not just as a career-wise, but also as mental life as well, on a moral perspective. Anyways, it's like this review. I hope you guys enjoyed Mob Psycho, and I hope you guys enjoyed the review. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you get notified. Madcrownxox, sign out.